Hi guys, my name's Subtutor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain and welcome back to Paladins. Now, we've got another new champion that's been released today, Talus. I just got the update as I sat down and as a result, he's here. He seems to be, well, he's another flank character because of course we needed more of those. But he seems to be an interesting mix of like, maybe a Doomfist and I don't know. He's got a short to mid range SMG. His alt fire is like a charge forward, punch and knockback. His kind of movement ability is a teleport that's like a recall, and then overcharge his weapon to fire faster for a few seconds, and then he can charge up, target an enemy, and travel directly to them from anywhere, basically hitting them for his blitz, his punch, which I don't know how that's aimed. What does it sound like? So he doesn't even get an interesting call on that. He just yells. He's some kind of little demon Oni child thing, I guess. But okay, I'm not gonna. I think we'll come and take a look at this stuff again afterwards, because Rune of Travel resets the cooldown of Overcharge and Blitz Upper when it activates. Okay, so potentially you can teleport back to your point and so on. No longer automatically activates. The rune is not used. The cooldown is reset. Okay. So we've got 2 for his movement ability, and 1 for his other ability, but nothing else. I feel like this character's not just a bit meh, but also a bit, I don't want to say rushed, but anyway, let's before I start making judgments that are too harsh, let's jump into the shooting range and like let's see what he does, shall we? Because you know, otherwise I'm just gonna start pulling this to pieces and so on without actually like having a good look, seeing what's there. You know, so let's go and take a look at what he can do in the shooting range, see his specifics, and then we can go back and take a look. So Talus, right? So well, that one doesn't have a picture. See, now no longer consuming ammo. I mean, if you've got that, what, a 33% increase in weapon speed, not having to recharge, reload during that time, so it's just a constant spray. That would be kind of useful. This one, where like all of these are useful, but none of them are really. I'm gonna take this one for the moment. And what have we got here? Increased movement speed. Rune of Travel heals you. Lifesteal while overcharge is active. That's quite a good one. Potentially hitting an enemy with blitz armor reveals them, and ammo count. So we definitely, I mean, I'm definitely not going to want to use that in a sec, but let's see what his range is actually like, shall we? So for it to, so it deals about 100 or so from about what, 50 units away. And it drops off by about 10 for every kind of pace afterwards. But okay, so when she turns red, okay, so when she turns red, it's 95. He does get headshots, but does it increase further? No. So from so what, from maybe about 30 units, he can really polish someone off, but beyond that, you've got some pretty steep drop-off on his damage. So how far... Let's see how far his punch goes, shall we? Okay, so not far at all. So let's... And 7-second cooldown. That might need changing, but up close. So you're going to want to kind of cover yourself coming in quite quickly and then lash out. Okay. I mean, he's got 2,000 health, and I'm sure we can... I would imagine there's a card for us to augment that with. So there's that. But hold on, let's... Okay, so we can't... Even if we hit it, we can only place it on the floor. We can't, and then... So we can only place... So we can't throw it to where we want to go and then go to it. There needs to be forethought with it. Alright. So how... Okay, so that lasts for a while. Let's go over and... Wait a second. Where's... Okay, so you need to... That did sod all to Fernando. But, so you need to aim at them from across the map. So you can still miss with that. It's the one thing. But... And with overcharge, you so the way... So you want to maybe come in... And then just mow people down. Possibly, so if I did that, came in on Fernando. And then that. So I can go in, cause some havoc, and then leave again. Possibly even using... Like, can I... So okay, you need to... If you don't hit someone, if you're not aimed at someone, then you don't move, but you also only lose... You don't lose all of your... You don't lose all of your charge either. So, hold on, let's see, can we... Okay. This is a weird one. Like... He seems to have a lot of kind of... involved in him. But... You know, like... If you want to make him more substantial, then we're going to have to see if we can do that with lifesteal or with increasing his health. But then beyond that, like, they want you to have some forethought involved. They want you to be able to come in and deal a lot of damage to tanks and things. But you're also going to have to... Like, I feel like he's... purely... Like, he's a sniper counter, but we don't have that many snipers in the game. You know, arguably Cassie... When she should be played more as a skirmisher, I'll do a video on Cassie at some point. Kinessa and Strix, but Strix can stealth, so you might not even be able to see him, which I guess is where revealing with a punch comes into play. But again, if he's on the other side of the map and you're trying to use your ultimate to get to him, to take him out, then... I mean, the punch is a follow-up for if he tries to stealth, but if he's taking his shot from stealth, and then disappears again, then you're not going to be able to target him, so hitting your ultimate with that charge isn't going to work. Yeah, this is interesting. Let's go back to to his little page in the champions tab and actually work out a loadout for him. So this one, to like, do I really want these Rune of Travel ones? Because there has to be some forethought involved, but it doesn't, like, placing it down, running in, dealing with it, and then warping back, which you know would sort out overcharge and blitz upper when you tap it. But potentially, like, I suppose you could tap it in one place, but then that puts you at risk. I don't know. Let's. I mean, I've got some essence from the games I've been playing with Hannah lately, but let's take a look at his other cards. So Blitz Upper heals you. Yes. That's a good one. We'll take that one. But we also want to find we like this guy definitely seems to be a cooldown reduction kind of fella. We want that one. Lifesteal from Overcharge. Revealing enemies. I'm not sold on that one because also, like, even with both Strix and Charlene as more snipery characters having stealth of one sort or another, they're not. Like, I don't feel that they're hugely impactful. I don't know what the reload speed is for because he seemed to reload pretty quick. Taking less damage. That's a good one. I think we'll stick with the Overcharge Legendary that we've got. We'll take both of these though, because lifesteal whilst below 40% health, less damage whilst below 40% health. That makes him more survivable in that like capacity as a brawler. Hitting an enemy while Overcharge is active reduces the cooldown of Blitz Upper. Okay. Enemies hit by Overcharge receive 20% reduced healing. Like, this seems like a good one here that we've been given, but again, I'm not sold on Rune of Travel. Like, I can't project it away from me. I have to place it, then move. And I'm not really sold on that. You know, personally. But do I want to spend 4,000 on that? Overcharge. Hit. So wait, hitting an. Okay, so as long as I'm hitting an enemy while active, then it reduces it by. So does that mean every hit reduces the cooldown on it? Because if so, that's a really powerful card. So we'll take that. We will do. Right. So we want. What we want is if we can take that. See, now that might be too much, but let's see how that is. So 20% lifesteal, that's fine, because then, like, whilst our health is below 40%, that's about 15%. If we increase that again, that'd be 24, but I don't think we need that. Blitz Upper heals for 100. That's not really worth it, actually. Like, not without it being much higher. So we might get rid of that actually and take something else. We might. I'm not sure about that one. But let's take a look at what else we've got. So how does this scale? So that goes up to. So we could get about 25% damage, less damage, which could be the difference between getting taken out and not taken out. So we'll take that. Then that leaves this just as 50%. But saying that, or 50 health rather. Like that's 10. That's. Do you know what? We'll do that. Because then with everything else, we might be okay. So we'll see how we go with this. I'm sure we've got another Sebus somewhere, but we'll go with that for now, and we'll stick with the Raging Demon card. But let's jump into a bot match and see how this plays out.
Select a champion. Talus.
Okay, so we've got Talus this time, and okay, so now that we're in, let's see how we go. Let's see how he works, shall we? Where are we? Frozen Guard, one of my favourite maps. So hopefully, we'll do okay with this. But we'll see. We got a barrack.
Oh yeah, put the hat on. Put the hat on. It's great.
Could be better. At some point, I'm going to go through a video of all the characters that they've reworked. Be it the ones that they have claimed that they have reworked in some way, or be it the ones that they have actually added or subtracted things to. For example, Ruckus now doesn't, even though I did a video on him not so long ago, he's had some of his stuff changed around. But anyway, let's see how Talus plays, because this guy seems really weird. Also, I've noticed that the AI in bot matches seems to have started going more for 2 tank, 1 healer, with a flank and a damage now, which I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but we'll see. Right, we want our cooldown. Which side are we? Are we this side? No, we're the other side.
Get over the spawn doors right now.
Here we go. Also, I don't mind jumping into third person when you're on a mount. You know, it gives you that little bit of extra kind of ability to see kind of what you're doing and where you're going. But the being on the mount or being out in third person when you're being out in third person when you're in oh, where'd he go? There we go. Die toggle, die toggle. There we go. I would like healing too, please. No? Alright then. Once again, I'm even if I'm playing a flank, I'm the one left capturing the point, because apparently, you know, the people who are judged on capturing the point never want to. But okay, so after that little skirmish, like I'll be interested to see how we go with stuff that's more spread out, because this is kind of a very kind of compact map, so seeing more. Oh, he's ghosted. But seeing kind of how far we can get from our rune before it runs out is going to be an interesting kind of thing, because that's going to be the kind of decider, I feel. You know, how far can we get before we start kind of running out of kind of time, I guess. How far can we get before it all breaks down and we get either teleported back or whatever else, you know, because then we lose our escape route potentially. You know, I'm kind of interested to see how that all pans out. But
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, y'all.
Hello, Wanderer.
Have fun.
I am thankful.
I can hear a grok. They're all going up there, apparently. Even the AI doesn't want to actually take the point. shit. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to press the other button, but oh well. Right, so we'll take some more lifesteal, because I think that's going to do us more good overall than taking some more Wrecker for the moment. Especially if we keep using... Oh! There you go. I mean, he can still pick people off. That's... There we go. I mean, he does pretty well against Lex, seemingly. Oh, I forgot I did that. See, now that's going to be a thing for me, I think, with this character. Just forgetting that I've done stuff. But I don't know. He's... Oh, thank you, Ceres. Like, he can definitely kind of deal damage, which is the good thing. But you know, like, I don't think his ult is really as substantial as it could be. You know, that's my issue. Like, I saw no situation in there to really use his ultimate. Like, that one time that I did was jumping through to just where the fight was, but then the person that I was aiming for, stealth, the person that I was kind of really tackling just disappeared, and so as a result it was only because I tagged onto someone else. Otherwise I would have just lost 30% of the ult charge and been left kind of stranded there. I mean, he survived, and apparently I got kind of a decent enough number of killing blows to get best flank. Like, silver on eliminations and most damage. I mean, granted, that barrack had taken the where is it? Here it is. Yeah, the turrets can't miss, which is a bit of a cheap card in my opinion for a frontliner as well. But hey ho. But let's see. I mean, we could have got better on that maybe, but then again, we got the best objective time by a lot. Both me and Victor, by a long shot, beating the person who's actually supposed to be stood on the point. But yeah, catching up on him in terms of damage, seemingly purely because he had that turret that couldn't miss. Yeah, like, he's not bad. He's just like it's almost kind of mediocrity.
Talus.
Yeah, he's got this kind of between places kind of thing, you know. He can get in, he can brawl, and he relies on some more regen, kind of lifesteal and regen kind of stuff to keep him going. But like, his ultimate and his ult fire are basically the same ability, but his ultimate has longer range, and it's, I don't know, he just seems really dull to me, almost, compared to some. I mean, we've seen this with a lot of flank characters that we've got in this game, you know, where Lex was a remix of other things that had already been put in, as well as stuff from other games, and I feel like Talus is falling into the same kind of hole. But if they're running out of ideas for damage kind of flank characters when they're the easiest things to put together for ideas, then no wonder we're still waiting for kind of parity for tanks and supports. Yeah, when we're still looking for more characters in that kind of area, and where we've got characters like Willow, who's basically a flank but being counted as a damage character in spite of the fact that in terms of pure damage output, she doesn't, put it out in as copious amounts, but she's there with more CC and more mobility. So there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of confusion across this roster, and I'm hoping it gets cleared up. I'm hoping that they're able to kind of work this out a bit better, so that we've got a decent number across each thing, across each role, and they all perform adequately. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if they manage. But if they can't, then I don't know. That might be where this game starts losing out more significantly than it already is to competitors, because this game doesn't have much to it at the moment. It's an arena shooter. They had a whole load of maps that I've taken a look at that are seemingly coming out quite slowly, but they're getting there. They've only got the 3 game modes still, and they removed the 4th, which was the PvE mode, so that which was entertaining and interesting as a kind of challenge mode per week, even if it wasn't like everything that we would want from PvE. So, it's again, I feel like the way that they started off with stuff was really good, and some of the directions that things are going now are not necessarily worrying completely, but like we're not seeing, as much as they're doing their dev streams every week and they're announcing different pieces of this overall puzzle that is the game that they're trying to create. Like the video that I did last time about the VIP system, they've added some more stuff to it, dance emotes and a gun for Androxus, I think. So like they're adding stuff, sure, but it's little bits here and there, and I feel like we're still missing big parts of the puzzle, especially when it comes to characters, the team compositions that can be created, where the focus is. They've dropped the shield off Ruckus, the alt fire shield off Ruckus, and turned it into a missile launcher, lowering his capability to just sit on the point and kind of ward people off. But that's his job. If others aren't able to do that, like Fernando or Barrick, when they're actually sat on the point trying to actually be defensive and take the point, then you're gonna buff those other characters. Don't nerf the ones that you've already got. Buff the characters up, make them more substantial. Torvald's had a rework, which I'm gonna have to go and take a look at again at some point. I want to do a roundup of like Ruckus and Torvald and the stuff that they did to Barrick by adding the 3 seconds to his legendary card, 3-second cooldown reduction for his barricade, which quite frankly doesn't do enough to rectify the problem. And some of the other bits and pieces that they've been doing. I'm going to make a kind of run-through video of those changes at some point. It might even be the next video I do, considering it's on my mind. But in regards to Talus, considering this is what this video is about, I feel like he's exemplifying kind of part of a trend that we're seeing of especially the areas that they're introducing characters that are just plainly mediocre. It seems like one guy had this really good idea for a character, and then the way that they've made the abilities just hasn't panned out. Like, I feel like Rune of Travel, being able to inscribe it at maybe more of a distance would help that out, because that way you could use that as both an aggressive ability and a defensive ability, instead of one that's purely defensive and restrains you. I only ended up using it in that match, which granted was against bots, so they're not necessarily the ones to try and chase so much if they can work out if they have an advantage or not. But the only time that I end up using it was by accident, and the only time I used his ult was to try and kind of get a kind of leg over on the grok to kind of get up there and screw him over, just out of nowhere. But because he either died or kind of fell off the edge or whatever happened, I ended up tackling the Torvald instead, which isn't necessarily something that that little Talus here wanted to do, considering that Torvald is still very kind of, even with some of the changes they've made, he's still quite daunting for someone without much health to tackle. So, you know, I feel like his ultimate isn't enough. I feel like his Rune of Travel needs more utility to it. Overcharge, not got a problem with it. It's so straightforward and easy, that's fine. Upper Blitz, again, that seemed to have quite a lot of a kind of utility to it. The thing that stands out to me is maybe lowering that cooldown, like its base cooldown, because even with being able to kind of hit with overcharge to lower the cooldown and to have Kronos and so on and so forth, there were still times when I felt like using it but couldn't. And, you know, making that more available as a skill is, you know, it's, I don't feel like a second or two shaved off that time would make as much of a difference overall. Considering people could take higher levels of this card to get that back faster, you know, I wanted it more spread out a little bit so that I could have more survivability in there, considering he's a little man with no health. But, you know, also the short to medium range, like, we were tagging people from a much higher range than it seemed to suggest in the shooting gallery that we'd really be able to. And I feel like if they just made that base range slightly higher, just so that it showed up that it was slightly higher, you know, kill some of the damage drop off that happens, actually make it a 50 unit minimum range instead of 30, which is a bit of an obscure kind of in the middle number there. I feel like that would maybe be of some benefit, but other than that, again, he's kind of mediocre. He's not. I don't dislike him. I don't really like him. He sits in that kind of odd area where some of his abilities just aren't worth the space that they're given. You know, especially considering that Rune of Travel again even has a very high cooldown, relatively speaking. You know, it's I don't know. It doesn't sit well. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling and leave it there, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.